This is Manindrabu from Batam. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
I'm Sela Sarakau from Vatukola. I only listen to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold Benaka, I'm Vale and I'm working at Golden Pro Resort, and I love listening to Gold FM because it plays a really wide range of classic music.
I'm Saini Sakio from Kashmir Wotoka. I like Gold FM, but only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Good evening, I'm Jackie Spade. This is FBC News. Tonight, Prime Minister urges youths to unite for a better Fiji. Peacekeepers pulled out of Sinai to be deployed elsewhere. And new laws soon in place for those who want a driver's license. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama gave an empowering speech to the youth of the Fifth World Culture Camp at the Civic Centre in Suva last night. The International Youth Fellowship Conferences aims to contribute to the development of young people and the subsequent improvement of their communities. Ellen Stahls reports.
Having an audience of hundreds of youth, the Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama spoke strongly against division based on skin colour, nationality or creed.
Today, you are all attending camp, but one day you will be leaders in your communities and countries and have to work together to move our world forward. When the day comes, you must not allow yourselves to be divided by your differences, but rather united by your commonalities.
The IYF World Culture Camp is attended by young people from 50 different countries, and Bainimarama sees the opportunity to encourage the youngsters to find solutions to many world problems, including climate change.
This will require long-term solutions. They will not be solved anytime soon, and that means you have the opportunity to help find these solutions. Yes, I'm afraid we will still be looking for solutions to these problems when you are my age, but I sincerely believe that we will have made a great deal of progress by that time.
Also present last night to speak to the youth was Fellowship founder Ok Sue Park, who emphasized the need for youths to attain a better life through a change of heart. Bainimarama also reminded participants that growing up in the 21st century is not easy, and that the stress levels and pressure put on our young people today is more than ever before. This, he says, is because we exist in a world that's rapidly changing, and one's success and happiness will be determined in no small part by their ability to adapt and change with it. Ellen Stahls, FBC News.
The Fiji Independent Commission Against Corruption has filed charges against Prime Fiji Limited in the Suva Magistrates Court. The company has been charged with 1 count of forgery and 1 count of using forged documents under the Crimes Decree 2009 respectively. It is alleged that Prime Fiji Limited submitted falsified performance security bonds of Westpac Bank amounting to $351 and $865 to Fiji Roads Authority while negotiating a streetlight renewal agreement with Fiji Roads Authority. The court has issued a summons to the director of the Prime Fiji to appear at the Magistrates Court on July 12th. 129 Fijian soldiers that had to be pulled out of Sinai because of the escalating violence will now be redeployed to other overseas missions. Director Peace Support Operations Commander Humphrey Tawake says this latest incident has meant a re-evaluation of their security measures. Maggie Boyle with this exclusive story.
With 99 Fijian peacekeepers returning from Sinai over the weekend and 29 unable to leave, the focus now is redeployment to other missions abroad.
Regular force personnel have all returned to their parent units. The TF personnel, which is about 48 of them, we have absorbed them into our current structures, pending the timings of their next deployment.
Tawake says the evolving face of terrorism across the globe is cause for concern.
Basically, the concern is across all our missions. You know, what happens in the Middle East affects all our missions, because our concentration of our mission is in the Middle East. So what has occurred in the Sinai is currently happening as well in the Golan Heights on the Bravo side, on the Syrian side.
He says while they remain committed to UN peacekeeping missions, they must take every precaution to ensure our troops are safe, with 210 still active in Sinai alone. The situation in northern Sinai and now the pulling out of 1/3 of the troops there has been somewhat of a wake-up call for the RFMF with regards to the security assessments, given that the peacekeepers are serving in some of the most volatile places in the world. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
The Land Transport Authority will soon implement stringent conditions before issuing licenses to new drivers. LTA has taken this step in an effort to prevent accidents and the general bad behavior of young drivers. Ali Kimbia has the details.
Work is underway for the Land Transport Authority to put together strict conditions for young drivers who are holders of provisional licenses.
We are actually putting in soon some stringent conditions as to before you can get a license. We're looking at the kind of license we can give them and how long will it take them to get a provisional license, and we'll put very strict conditions.
Once the new laws are introduced, LTA states that drivers who breach these rules will face severe penalties.
Within that provisional time, if they do breach the conditions on which the license is issued, then there'll be severe penalties. They might not be able to get a proper license for years to come. So I don't have the program at this stage, but it's still work in progress.
And the members of the public have shown their full support to LTA.
It should be very good. It will be safe for the drivers and very safe for the traveling public.
The issuing of license to young drivers, I think the LTA is doing a good job.
LTA has also stated that accidents are not confined to just provisional license holders only, but to the general behavior of drivers, which is also part of their prevention plan. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
A 44-year-old man of Nandera and a 62-year-old woman of Samambula who are alleged to be involved in the death of 48-year-old Lamuel Das in Jitu Estate have been further remanded. The deceased is believed to have been stabbed around 1 a.m. last Saturday morning. Samson Lal, who is charged with 1 count of murder, and Reshma Devi, charged with 1 count of accessory after the fact of murder, appeared in the Suva Magistrates Court this afternoon. Prosecution objected to bail, saying murder is a serious offence and the safety of the accused person is to be protected. Bail hearing will be heard tomorrow. Coming up on FBC News, fight to save Kawakawa and Donu starts again. And we visit the UK boat that treats everyone as equal. Stay with us.
FM rocks. My name is Denasa and I'm from Lutoka and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Mulamila. I work at Golden Point Resort. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks in Rakiraki.
I'm Mary from Mandera. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks. We love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. It's that time of the year again where the Fijian population are advised not to buy, eat or sell local fish such as Kawakawa and Donu. The 4Fiji campaign to revive one of Fiji's declining stock has started, with all Fijians urged to give up these fish during their peak breeding months from June to September. Sainiani Boiler reports.
People from all walks of life have been advised to allow the Kawakawa and Donu to reproduce and ensure the fish population replenish the reefs.
For us as everyday Fijians is quite simple, and that's to take this voluntary pledge just during the breeding season, not to buy, sell or eat it. That way we give them a space to be able to breed and restock our reefs.
More than 8,000 people have pledged to ensure our fish populations remain healthy. According to a Suva fisherman, the pledge won't be easy for them.
The pledge won't be easy for us fishermen here because we fish for a living. Only if the government can pay for our benzene, then we can be part of the pledge.
4FJ is currently working closely with Fiji Fisheries Department to encourage greater dialogues with fishermen, fishermen association, fish sellers, as well as communities.
Sainia Nimboila, FBC News.
27 students of Vanuakula Catholic School in Waindina Naitasiri have lost their dormitory following a fire. National Fire Authority says the Nausori Fire Station team used deliveries of water from the fire trucks to extinguish and stop the fire from spreading to the block of classrooms, which were a few meters away. An investigation is underway to determine the cause of the fire. As the cane crushing season nears, farmers in the Ra province have expressed concern on the transportation of their crop to the Rarawai mill. This following the closure of the Penang mill in the aftermath of Tropical Cyclone Winston. Madhyam Bolaitamana was in Ra and files this report.
The Fiji Sugar Corporation is anticipating a low yield this season following the devastation of Tropical Cyclone Winston. But the concern for farmers in the Ra province is the transportation of their crop to the mills.
Here in Penang mill is fair $13 ton, and after this, they'll pay FSC. Tell him.
For this farmer, what used to be a 150-ton harvest in a season has been reduced to a mere 30 tons.
I take 150 tons. This year, I kali 20 ton, 25 ton. Abhi to hum log pehle rekri ki. This year baaja.
The farmers in these parts have opted for cash crops to mitigate for the loss incurred earlier this season, but remain positive that as the year rolls out, things will turn for the better.
No rain. All the farm is ready. We want to plant the cane in festival, but not rain.
जब अमेरिका ना होता गन्ना क्लास अमेरिकन पहले तब जुरा तभी देखो सब गन्ना सब जुरा बेटो ये ला सब जो तो क्लास सब जुरा गन्ना बेटो.
Following the crippling blow of Tropical Cyclone Winston earlier this year, cane farmers in the Western Division remain optimistic that the sugar industry will claw its way back to being Fiji's economic backbone of the future. Madhyam Bolaitamana, FBC News.
People with disabilities and the ones who are older and cannot do things on their own will all be treated equally on board the SV Tenacious. This is the message by the 16-year-old British ship's captain, Chris Phillips, as this ship is specially built to be accessible to people with disabilities. Farzana Nisha has more.
All participants, along with crew members on board the vessel, will be taking part in numerous activities.
When I first started working for the Trust 10 years ago, how quickly the sea becomes a leveller and puts everybody in the same position. Everybody's put in an alien environment and they have to work together to sail the ship, and it levels it, and you start seeing through the disabilities and you see the person rather than the disability.
The second in command, sharing her experience with FBC News, says she has been having an interesting time working on board the SV Tenacious.
I've climbed with a lady who has a progressive disability. She has multiple sclerosis and she can't walk very far. So it would normally take someone 5 minutes to climb up to the first platform there, and it took her about half an hour, but she did it, and for her it was such an achievement to do that.
One of the participants says she has been waiting for this trip since she came to know about it in December last year.
It's very exciting for me, and just to be here on the ship, to have a first glimpse of how it's like inside. Personally, I just can't wait.
The sponsors, along with the participants, came on board the Tenacious this afternoon for a goodwill tour. The Tenacious leaves for its first voyage on 22nd of this month. Farzana Nisha, FBC News.
Sports is up next. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Thanks, Jackie, and good evening. Coming up in sports, Osborne eagerly awaits flying Fijians' debut. And Fiji football side stranded in PNG. Details after the break.
आपको करगंगा के रंजिला का नमस्कार। रेडियो फिजी की सुंदर सुंदर यादों का खजाना एकदम बचपन के दिन याद करा देते हैं।
हमारा नाम जॉनी नायडू है। हम रहता है मलोरो में और हम
टैक्सी ड्राइवर है, हम सब टाइम अपन टैक्सी में रेडियो FG2 सुनता प्रोग्राम।
हम सिंगाटोका के हैं, हमारा नाम है रोजी, हम लोग यहाँ पे रेडियो FG2 सुनता है।
राम राम, मैं रेमस प्रसाद बोलता हूँ, तब होता हूँ कोई रहता हूँ, मैं जब भी सुना रेडियो FG2 ही सुनता हूँ।
रेडियो FG2 देश की धड़कन।
Patrick Osborne is ready to make his debut for the Vodafone Flying Fijians on Saturday. The Super Rugby Highlanders wing brings with him an abundance of experience and is sure to add firepower to the Fijian backline. Vasnil Prasad reports.
Finally running for his home nation, Patrick Osborne is pumped up to make his international debut for the Flying Fijians.
Dream come true, ever since I was a small kid, I always wanted to be in the Flying Fijians or even in the Sevens team. But yeah, everybody's just learning the moves and stuff like that, getting our clarity done, and everybody's looking forward to playing Tonga this weekend.
His inclusion has come at the right time, and backline coach Andre Bell says Osborne will play a huge role in the team going forward to the 2019 World Cup.
We want to give everybody an opportunity to give them a chance for selection, so great to have him there, and I'm sure he's a real asset to our team.
For the past 4 years, the 28-year-old has been making his name in Super Rugby. Not only that, he was also part of the world #1 All Blacks team once.
Having been at that in that team and stuff, like now I'm still learning. I learned tips then, and sort of bringing that learnings and putting it in with however I may help in the Fiji team.
There is a lot of expectations from Patrick Osborne after his much ever improving performance in Super Rugby with Highlanders, and having spent a time with All Blacks training squad. Osborne is expected to fire up our fast backline come Saturday. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
This year's Flying Fijian squad has a good mixture of young and experienced players. While Viliame Vekoso makes his 33rd appearance for the national team, local-based Mesake Ndonge is relishing the opportunity to be in the 28-member squad. Vasnil Prasad again with more.
Viliame Vekoso is one of the great sons Fiji have ever produced in rugby, and the veteran is again ready to be part of the Flying Fijians' ever-improving front row this season.
Really exciting to be part of that team for another year. It's great to see a lot of new boys coming in, and meeting up with them. I'm really honored and grateful to be part of the team.
He's expected to add more flavor in the front row alongside Kempesi Mafu, Sonia Koto and Penny Ravai.
Set a standard for ourselves, and we've been having meetings that the standard is there and we shouldn't bring it down any time now, because I think it's good for Fiji rugby as a whole.
On the other hand, Naita Siri prop Mesake Ndonge is also ready to make debut for the Flying Fijians.
I'm really going to work hard. I am going to put the effort into getting into the 23-member squad. It's not going to be easy, but I'm really grateful. Even being in camp with the guys for the 28-member squad, it's been a really good opportunity being around those professional rugby players.
The young prop is aware of the task ahead and says it's the beginning of his new life in rugby.
I believe in myself, that I've taken myself up to this level and I can take it up. And it really depends on how you work and the work you put into it. Nothing is impossible, and everything can be achieved through hard work and commitment.
These players have one more day to impress before coach John McKee names the matchday 23 member to face Tonga in the Pacific Nations Cup match on Saturday. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, the Tonga rugby team held its first training run today in Suva in preparation for its PNC opener. The Kaletahi also boasts a lot of experience in its team this year, with the likes of Nili Latu, who will skipper the side. The Tongans are also here to set a platform ahead of the 2019 World Cup qualifiers. The Tonga-Fiji match kicks off at 3 p.m. at ANZ Stadium, and you can catch a live commentary of the game on Bula FM. The Pacific Games Council is keeping its fingers crossed that Tonga will host the 2019 Pacific Games. The Games Council has warned the event could be taken away if Prime Minister Akilisi Pohiva removes the chair of the organizing committee, Lord Sevele. Council President Vidya Lakan says they are trying its best to solve the ongoing issue with the government.
Power to appoint and to terminate
is with TASANOC in consultation with the Pacific Games Council. The government of Tonga and the Prime Minister or the Games Authority do not have that power. So we have said that the directive of the Prime Minister is null and void, and we have advised the CEO to continue in office.
The Pacific Games Council now awaits a response from the Tongan government. The Vodafone Fiji football team is stranded in Papua New Guinea after the aircraft it was scheduled to leave on this morning was grounded due to technical concerns. Fiji, who was bundled out of the OFC Nations Cup over the weekend, were to return home via a connecting flight through the Solomon Islands. Fiji Football Association Chief Executive Bob Kumar says the team has returned to the hotel and is expected to depart tomorrow.
Came to the airport this morning and they were scheduled to fly out at 10 o'clock on Air New Guinea. But when they arrived in the airport, they were told the flight will not take place because the Air New Guinea was having some problem in landing rights or landing the plane in Honiara on their way out. And as a result, they cancelled the flight and they have told us that it is likely that the players will come tomorrow.
Meanwhile, the Vodafone National Under-17 League begins this weekend. The league, which is also an initiative of the Oceania Football Confederation, will have 16 teams taking part. The district officials were also handed equipment and match attire today. Meanwhile, Fiji FA also received some support for the competition, with Vodafone backing the league with $50,000 in sponsorship.
One district will receive equipment worth of about $6,500 and an amount of about $81,000 will be spent on all the 16 districts for Under-17 League for this year only. Therefore, for 2 years it will be more than $160,000 of financial support given by us, plus the equipment which will be given to you now.
That was your sports for this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
Four Fijian resorts have been named as the best in the South Pacific for honeymoons. The list was put together by the world's largest bridal magazine that teamed up with A-list agents, a network of more than 11,000 luxury travel specialists, to find the most romantic hotspots in the world. In fourth place on the list is Lauvala Island. Oprah Winfrey is just one of A-list fans who've reveled in this private isle over the top luxury and ultra seclusion. Turtle Island got the 6th spot on the list, from Britney Spears to Jessica Simpson having honeymoon on the private island. Royal Ndavui Island Resort, situated in the Mbenga Lagoon, took 9th spot, whilst Namale Resort and Spa on Savu Savu took 10th spot. Fine weather apart from brief showers was experienced over the interior and eastern parts of the country. Lambasa was the hottest on 32, while all other centres also recorded warm temperatures. Forecast to midnight tomorrow is fine apart from brief showers about the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands, moderate to fresh east to southeast winds, rough seas. And the further outlook is for Thursday should see occasional rain, possibly heavy at times, and a few thunderstorms. Recapping the main stories from tonight's bulletin, Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama has urged youths to unite for a better Fiji. Fijian peacekeepers who have been pulled out of Sinai are to be deployed elsewhere, and new laws soon in place for those who want a driver's license in the country. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. On to this week's poll question, we are asking, are you happy with the new venue for the Hibiscus Festival? To answer, visit our FBC website. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj, or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news, or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. Good night.
Alango Katonasia Tugotua, Aonia Saurara, although we'll take you on a TV. Na maketi tawa aundo talitanga na waronga na Bula FM number 2 na sir
Bula na viti na da ko plasio matairi ngon mai na na bula tabiuni au satu ga nandi ando talitai na warongo na Bula FM Bula FM number 2 and seri